Yes, we can hear you. Good morning. We'll be commencing the P&Z soon.
P&Z will begin shortly at 9 o'clock.
We don't have her here today, do we? We don't have her here today, do we?
Morning, gentlemen.
How are you?
Good, and you?
See ya.
Buenas mañanas. How are you doing today? Morning.
All right, good to see you.
I haven't been on my. It's just. Out for a loop, they call it.
It was the nasty thing. When I went from the park Tacho, went south all the way to where you start on Snow Road. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going up and they're just hitting me all over while I'm
You
riding.
guys wanna do one tonight? There's a, got a purchase ride. They're meeting with Outdoor Adventures, 15 miles.
Okay.
Meeting at 6:30 at Outdoor Adventures.
I usually do 10 or 15. See, don't go much longer. I have a neighbor who does.
You do the whole loop, it's like 26. From my house.
I'm still learning.
I tried to do that a couple of times.
I will take you up on that eventually.
Yeah.
We're ready to try that tonight.
I haven't been doing the Outdoor Adventures rides just because.
Oh, yeah.
You need 'em.
You do. I only ride. I've never ridden it during that night. We did a you heard of the Ride of Silence? I did that. It was like 2 weeks ago. We just did 9 miles, kind of around the sea, and there were 85 riders. We were a crowd.
I went to, usually my stepson and I ride to the market on Saturday.
Oh, to downtown?
Yeah, I meet him usually down at the, where the spillway is up.
Yes.
I usually meet him there and we ride down to the.
Oh, nice.
There's a couple of Saturdays where we couldn't do it. So, we didn't. I rode, actually, I did, I went to the Mount Vernon. When I was walking my bike, I was walking back into the Scotias. Scotia Park, and the Air Force.
Okay.
So I went to do that. This guy was, honestly, the bikes. Hey, you gonna do the mayor's ride? I said, huh? He goes, yeah, come on.
Really?
Yeah.
You got recruited.
Recruited.
Well, that's cool.
Then I ran into him.
Okay, so it's all one thing? Yeah, you got him up there. And so if there's anybody else, they can be up
They
on
did one where they went from
there.
Durango to Moab, Utah. Oh, did you? Yes, that's what they were doing.
6 years.
Goes by quick.
Good morning.
Bob?
How are we doing?
Good, how are you?
8 years.
Hi, Bernie.
Good morning.
How are you doing? Okay, how are you?
Good. I just got back from Mimbres. Spent 4 nights up there.
Were you fighting fires? What were you doing? Relaxing?
No, my grandson's he belongs to 4-H, and he's in the shooting competition. He qualifies for a district meet up there in Santa Clara.
Okay.
And so we rented a cabin there in Mimbres. Real nice cabin.
Was it smoky?
No, beautiful, cool, rain.
So the fires are out.
They're not out completely, They're still up towards Hillsborough and Kingston,
Okay.
but, the rain just did a number on those fires.
Yeah,
So right now they're doing suppression and just cleaning up debris and stuff like that.
okay.
But, no, we had a super, super good time.
Cool.
Real nice.
Nice to get away, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we went up there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and came back yesterday.
I have two nephews that are in shooting competitions in 4-H. Yeah, the one's too old now. He's at Animus shooting. The younger one, they do rifle and they do bow and arrow. Their mother just drives them. Crafts, all kinds of stuff. Oh, it's amazing how things they do change.
That's the way my daughter, she's just, wherever they wanna go, softball, baseball, 4-H, whatever.
It's a shuttle service, right?
Public course.
I mean, I just went through
Right off the road. And people competitions and bow and arrow, rifle, shotgun.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's.
Real nice having that, lady that I know up there, members. We built them house, huge kitchen and living room. Yeah, and, wrap around board.
What did she charge you a night for?
And then go back to the, given the one tire, the wheels. How wide the tire.
People are in there, they go find cabinets. Got internet, got, Wi-Fi.
I thought my wife.
Called, Two Arrows Lodge.
See, they really cool thing,
Victoria
valve
Walsh.
caps on the tires, when they're filled up,
No one making,
pop out,
it's
and
like a
it's like bright green.
warning.
When they get low, they pop into the red. So you can just glance at it and see whether your tire is there or not. I thought, they do all those, I but they came in from my car, and it's like, I was teasing them the other day, I said, well, this is
I'm still making fun.
because she's only ridden it like twice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Eileen's not gonna be here today. I think it's Janine.
Oh, okay. Thank you. We should move that silent.
don't have one, but
Okay. Okay, thank you, sorry. I guess we can go ahead. Huh? Yeah. So thank you, everyone, for attending, and thank you to those who are online. Mel, can you hear us okay?
Mel?
Mel? Commissioner Acosta? Mel, did you mute yourself? Can you?
I don't think he has his microphone. I can just barely hear something in the.
Yeah.
Says he's speaking.
Yeah. We're trying to get Mel to turn his microphone on.
Okay, and you would like everyone to.
His microphone is on, but we're trying to see
Thank you.
what the situation is with the WebEx.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
So you said you want us to check our microphones?
No, he said it.
Ms. Crossman, would you say something so we can see if we can hear you properly?
Yes. Can you hear me? I can hear the people on the phone call and I can
Felipe, I can hear him on the podium, but not on the sound system.
Okay. Ms. Crossman, will you say that again? We're turning up your volume up high.
I can hear people in the room and I can also hear Bill on the web.
Okay, so we can hear you very faintly. If you guys don't mind, we're gonna reboot this computer that you guys are logged into, and you're gonna be boot off, but log back in a minute. Is that okay?
How you doing? Good to see you.
If you need a packet, Janine has some over there. Yeah, she said she would give you one. I'll know more about the second. I know that T2 has renewable energy things. I didn't know you could do, it's permitted in I-1, 2, and 3. I don't understand why T2's opposite of the I's. I didn't even. Because it seemed, I'll have to look at the map. There's my zones near there.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be a violation of mill on the smart zone. Okay. I'll ask how
Okay.
does when we do it.
That was my question.
Yeah, I actually dug out my manual.
Why would you do a T2 and then ask for a special use? You know, you could just do straight.
A special use permit is required in the T2 for that.
Can people on WebEx chime in just to see if we can hear you guys
You want to see if you can hear us or the people online?
online?
Okay. Mel, can you hear us?
Mel's muted.
Mel, turn your microphone on.
Mark, could you say something unmuted just to see if we can hear you guys? Can we hear you guys?
Felipe, I can still hear him on the podium.
But it's not coming through.
We can hear you, just not on the surround system. That's what they're trying to fix right now.
Correct. We can hear you guys in the AV booth, but we're trying to figure out why it's not in the main chambers.
Maybe we should all move in the AV booth. Sorry. Couldn't resist.
Would the folks on WebEx talk again?
Sure. It's Mark Miller from Soltage. Are we coming off clearly for you?
Yes, you are. Thank you so much. We apologize for the problems, but here we go.
Oh, no worries. Thanks so much for your patience as well.
You
Just-
ready? We ready?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Chair?
Did Mel unmute himself?
I'm unmuted.
Okay. Albert, you want to go ahead? We'll call the meeting to order and you can do the roll call, please.
Yes, Chair. For roll call, Commissioner Castañeda,
Here.
Commissioner Zarges,
Present.
Commissioner Montañez,
Here.
Commissioner Lear,
Here.
Commissioner Herrera,
Here.
Commissioner Acosta,
Mel, are you here?
we'll get back to him.
right.
Chair Zerniak,
I'm here. Mel, come back from the kitchen. All right.
I see Mel listed on the WebEx, just so you folks know. I see his
Yeah,
name here.
We see him. Thank you. All right. So approval or changes to the agenda. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll move the agenda as presented.
A second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approval of minutes for the regular meeting of June 9th, 2022. I need a motion.
I move to approve minutes as written over June 9th.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Old business, case number SD 21-055. Albert, I believe you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair.
Please state your name and address for the record,
My name is Albert Casillas, 845 North Motel Boulevard.
and raise your right hand and repeat after. No, you just raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
I do. Good morning, Commission. For our first case today, we have a modification request. The owner of the property is Carol Ann Meyer for Isang Living Trust. The applicant is Gem Surveying, and they are here present. This property is located south of La Union over there by Kugel Road. It is zoned T2. So the request today is to modify road access standards. And this is by eliminating paving within the subdivision and also to the nearest arterial or collector road pursuant to section 35403 and 35602 of the Unified Development Code, as required in the T2 zoning district for a summary subdivision. And they are requesting to create five lots. Location map, this is the property right here. Just to get a general idea, La Union is over here to the north. We have Alvarez Road, we have McNutt Road right here. This would be Kugel Road down here, and Cristo Vista would be up here. So how do you get up here? You gotta drive north on Bella Vista Drive. So you drive up north till you hit the southeastern corner of that property. And basically that's, when we do a close-up, this is what the property looks like. This is the subject parcel. These are already existing lots out there. Cristo Vista Avenue that connects over here to North Valley Vista Drive. Kugel Road's down here. I would like to mention that Kugel is already a county paved road. It is paved. So the unimproved portion of the access to this property would be here North Valley Vista Drive and Cristo Vista Avenue. And I'll show you guys a couple pictures further down the presentation. The zoning map, pretty typical out there. It's mostly all T2 with a couple of T3 zoning designations out there. But this would be Kugel once again, right here. So the property itself, it is 230 acres right now. When we looked up at the county assessor's office, there's really no information on existing buildings. I think the mobile home that's already there, they've been there for years. When you looked at the aerial photos, there is a mobile home. You got the horse corrals and other accessory structures. Currently, water out there, it's by a water well, and wastewater is being handled by a septic tank. And like I mentioned before, access to the subject parcel and the parcels that are being proposed come off of Cristo Vista Avenue and North Valley Vista Drive. So like I stated before, the applicant is requesting a modification to those road access standards, basically to the paving requirements. On their proposal, they're showing 5 lots. Track number 1 is going to be about 15 acres. Track number 2, 3 acres. Track number 3, 2. And then the big ones are going to be track 4 and track 5, with track 4 being about 55 acres and track 5 being about 155. So the applicant's intent is to develop a road through track 5 to track 1, and that's using a private road cross-section that I'll show you guys here in a couple more slides. But that's about the only improvements that they're proposing at this time. this modification went to the DRC back in March 31st. They made a motion to deny their request, so the DRC ended up denying their request by a vote of 4-0. So here we just have the copy of the plat. So this is depicting the entire property. And just so you get an idea, tract 1 would be this portion right here. That's the 15 acres where the existing home is located. Valley Vista would be right here. So that private road section, cross section that they're proposing would just be from this portion all the way through tract 5 to tract 1. So that would be one of the road improvements that the applicant's proposing. You have tract 2 and tract 3 right here. These are the smaller ones, the 2-acre and the 3-acre parcel. And back over here, you have tract 4, which is going to be accessed through Cristo Vista right here. And then just a close-up of that, here is tract 4, and this is a portion of tract 5. So this would be the farthest western lot that's being proposed out of the summary subdivision. And here is the rest of tract 5. This would be the southeastern corner of the property, with Valley Vista being right about here. This would be the road that they would be proposing to serve as access to tract 1. And this is just the remainder of tract 5. So what are they proposing? Basically, it's going to be this cross section right here for a private road. Basically, there's going to be some grading with some swales and keeping the native soil base on there. This is one of the requirements from the UDC for a rural local road. So this is just a comparison of what's required and what they're proposing. And here is just another aerial of the property. That's where the subject parcel is at. So on the survey that you saw, tract 4 would be like this portion back here. So the access through here would be through Cristo Vista and down Valley Vista, all the way down to Kugel Road. That's pretty much the area where the road improvements would be required. So all the way from tract 4 through the southern portion of the subject parcel, all the way down to Kugel Road. So here are some pictures of what the roads look like out there. This is here at the intersection of McNutt and Kugel Road. And we drive up Kugel Road until we get to Valley Vista, and then we make a right here. And that's pretty much what the road looks like currently. And this is a view looking back from the intersection of Valley Vista and Macarena. And then as soon as you pass Macarena, there is an arroyo that's been causing issues out there. So it kind of dips down there onto Valley Vista, and that's just a close-up of the current conditions of the road. So this is what it looks like after it rains. And then you get to that southeastern corner of the property, so that's the main entrance. So this would be the road that would be going all the way up to tract 1 through tract 5. And then when you look west from there, that's Cristo Vista Avenue, and this would be the axis serving basically tract 2, tract 3, and tract 4, way at the western portion of the property. And then this is currently the access to tract 1. You can kind of see the home back here. But basically, that's what the subject parcel looks like right now. It's all just native scenery out there, landscape that's there. You do see some existing homes on there, but those are for lots that have been there for years already. And just another view. So when talking about modification requirements, really, they come up under the duties of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Basically, the P&Z shall receive here and make final determinations on a couple of land use applications, but it does mention deviations, modifications, or alternative design to subdivision plats. And that pretty much falls under the same for the Development Review Committee. But basically, under the Development Review Committee, it states that the applicant shall demonstrate that the deviation, modification, or alternative design will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare, or not be materially injurious to properties or improvements in the area of notification and result in greater conformance with the specifications of this chapter. And there's another section of the DRC that says that they can also look at modifications to subdivision requirements. So far, staff analysis, basically I already mentioned, that they're proposing to do 5 lots. We talked about the sizes that are being proposed, that the applicant's intent is to only develop that road through track 5 to track 1. The DRC did hear this request and they denied the request. And the applicant was only, proposing to improve an internal road and not Cristo Vista Avenue and North Valley Vista Drive, which connect to Cougar Road, which is the nearest county-maintained road. The approximate distance from Cougar Road to the main entrance of the subject property is about half a mile. So that's just the approximate distance. So per 350.105A.4, the applicant failed to demonstrate that the deviation, modification, or alternative design will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare, or to be materially injurious to properties or improvements in the area of notification. So far, staff findings, they're included in your packet, but basically it's that item number 4. Item number 5, it's the purpose of the roadway is to serve the development from the 5 lots, and since these are large lots, there may be further subdivision, creating smaller lots that would benefit road improvements. So our recommendation today for this modification request is for the P&Z to uphold the decision of the DRC and deny the request for a modification to road access standards. However, if the P&Z recommends approval or conditional approval, we are recommending the following condition. That condition being that any future subdivision of the property, including a claim of exemption, will require the applicant to provide improved road access as required pursuant to those sections in the Unified Development Code. So that's our analysis and recommendation for this case, and we do stand for questions, as well as the applicant.
You're talking about Romania.
Excuse me?
Felipe, if you can mute all the other participants on there, except for Mr. Acosta. Everybody else is on WebEx or for the next case, not for this one.
Okay, are there any questions from the commission for Albert? For those of you who are online, could you mute yourselves until we give you a chance to speak? Thank you. Any questions?
Mr. Chair, just one question. In the DRC, minutes, it just states that a motion was approved, or motion to deny, I'm just going to read it, a motion to deny the proposed roadway and cross-section presented on the basis of being an incomplete submittal. Is the DRC required at all to give any other reasons for denial other than the incomplete submittal? Was there any other discussion on why this was denied by the DRC?
I believe there was further discussion at the DRC, but that's just what the minutes stated. Basically, there was, the applicant did have a chance to give out a presentation of his request, and the motion was made based on those facts and that discussion that occurred.
That's it. Nothing further, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Anyone else? So I guess we should hear from the applicant.
Yes, and we do have the applicant here as well as their engineer as well.
Okay.
Felipe, can we go back to the PowerPoint?
There's three, there's two other copies, I'm gonna keep one. Just kind of hand those out.
Are you doing the swearing in?
I am.
Okay.
Please raise your right hand and state your name and address for the record.
Anthony Gutierrez, 6050 Fifth Street, Oregon, New Mexico, 88052.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Under penalty of law.
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
I think I'll address first the discussion that happened during DRC. Commissioner Montanez had inquired about. Essentially, when we were making our presentation at DRC, in looking at all of the issues together, including the community's issues out there with flooding, the community issues with roadway improvements, this is a known hotbed of flooding and roadway problems. And it's our client's interest not to burden the community with anything that'll worsen the situation. She has a long history of working with the community members out there on site, as well as with the county and the sheriff's posse, in providing property easements, things of that nature to control flooding and to, work with the community to improve the area. The house that's out there right now, as discussed, it was referred to as a trailer. It's actually a site-built stone home. And they use this area to stage for horseback riding, they let the sheriff's posse use the property for all types of equestrian-related activities. And Mrs. Livingston has shown over the years that through many different activities that she wants to stay in the area. She's not developing with the intent of, putting a big subdivision in. She's had this property for quite a long time. And what she's trying to do in this round of splits is to, work with it in the way that she's always worked with it, improve it very little and minimally, and also divide around existing areas that she uses right now. One of the reasons we put a halt on that DRC meeting and we actually wanted them to deny was because in there, when you're having discussion, things come to light. And we wanted to revisit the issue and see if there was anything better we could come up with, even if that's just earmarking property for a specific use. Do you mind if I page through this? So if we look at the area land use aerial right now, you can see there's two major arroyos that are running through what on the plat is tract, I believe it's tract 5, right? No, tract 4. Those two arroyos right now come into Ms. Livingston's property and then go through the property and impede many properties south of Cristo Vista Lane. And there's even through the central access coming up, see what this road, I forget what it's called. Valley Vista. There's a crossing on Valley Vista that gets washed out nearly every time we have a major rain event. And there was discussion about putting in a culvert there to deal with that, but that doesn't fix the issue of this water going through the existing properties that are already occupied. So in our discussions, what we thought would be more than prudent and possibly even fix the area is to provide land for ponds to capture that water. It sounds like a crazy idea. So we employed David Bolschweiler. He's a civil engineer that consults for us to do a preliminary drainage analysis, and that's what's been handed out now. And it can be done. And it can be done without involving the Corps of Engineers or the New Mexico Office of State Engineer, given the amount of water. If you look at the preliminary drainage analysis, Basically, there's a 4-hour time of concentration. All these numbers make sense with these rain events. And Ms. Livingston has said that she's willing to dedicate this property for that specific use so that the community has the property earmarked in the proper location. One of the issues about ponding these arroyos and temporarily diverting them, and letting the water dissipate, is that property west of her boundary is unavailable. It simply would not work to put the ponds there because they're so close to the escarpment. Her property is far enough away from that escarpment to actually make this a feasible idea. And we know that money for these types of projects can be garnered in many different ways, but there's probably a very successful path going after some federal monies or whatever. Our interest, though, is to earmark the property. She's shown that she has a track record of doing that. She's allowed access. She's sold property for the use of ponding already in the past. And she even tried to work a special tax district for this area to deal with the roadway problems because of the flooding. We feel like this is something that, staff mentioned if you were to approve, not to allow any further subdividing without improving the roads. That's a good idea. However, any road improvements done in the area without fixing the drainage will undo those road improvements. There's not really any roadway design that will mitigate the flooding that's coming down off of that escarpment. So if we want to deal with the problem, we feel like this is where it starts, is actually dealing with the drainage that flows through the community and earmarking the property now. And so we're asking for an approval conditionally based on earmarking this property, mapping it, and the likes. And that's what we feel is a better idea. Just to give you a list of the things that Ms. Livingston has worked on in the community. She's provided access to the BLM Dam. She's sold 2.21 acres to the county for a spillway. She's permits the use of Rock Ranch Road, dam spillway, all of this. She's worked with the community, knocking on doors to try to get that special tax assessment district done. So she's willing to work on this more. And we really want to just support her in that endeavor. She's put a lot of money into this project. From our perspective, a lot of money into a project that's not really aimed at the typical development goals that we work with other clients on typical subdivisions. This is not a typical subdivision. And that's why we believe it, requires more special view and a look at what the actual parameters of this are. That's it for now. Do you have any questions about this, or would you like to hear from anybody or go over this analysis that we've provided?
So I'm confused. It says a request submitted by Lillian Watson, Gem Engineering applicant for Carol Ann Meyer. Who is Miss Livingston? Well, fine, I'm glad you're here. Who is she in relation to this parcel? Does she own it?
Yes.
Then who is Carol Ann Meyer?
She's the same person, and I believe her name changed, and so that's the confusion for the last name. Now you are Carol Livingston, right? Yes.
And who's
Myers was her previous
Who is
name.
Lillian Watson?
Lillian Watson works for Gem Surveying. She's one of our surveyors. She's sitting right next to her.
All right, so from your perspective, why did the DRC deny your request?
Because they're limited on the way that they can look at these projects by the code, and they have to. Really, what we've provided is what we think is feasible for the client to do with the property. The requirements are such that it's financially unviable for her to pave that length of 2 roads. And from our position too, it really wouldn't improve the community because it leaves the drainage problem there. We'd essentially put a new road in and that's just